How's it going?
Good. Cold.
Freezing. I'm still shivering. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah.
That's your overall impressions, just getting one last game in the state of Alabama and, coming out to win.
No, it was amazing. Coming into the Senior Bowl, I really didn't know what to expect. I could have asked around, CJ Dupree. He played in it last year. But obviously he's playing for something a little bit bigger than all of us right now, Super Bowl. So big congrats to him. So I didn't want to bother him all that much. But, I kind of came in open-minded. And, playing in front of all these Alabama fans, I was kind of getting swarmed during the week after practices and after this game too, just kind of just feeling really grateful for my time in Alabama and being able to play in one last game here in front of all these fans.
You feel like you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish within the course of the week?
I believe I did. My entire goal was development and getting that first taste of how the NFL is going to feel like. And, you can't get much better than NFL coaches really coaching you up and giving you a system and evaluating you. So I believe I did.
As coaches were coaching you up, what's some of the things that they pointed out to you about the game?
Throughout the week, just kind of like appreciating like what you did throughout your entire career and just kind of like telling you, like that process is going to have to change a little bit, because ultimately the NFL is a business and they're evaluating you and you're here because of the work that you've put in thus far. But, you're going to realize real quick that there's levels to everything. And, they kind of pointed out to you pretty quick, the little details that go into everything, your steps, where your hands need to be, where your eyes need to look, things like that. So it's like throughout the week, you're just kind of tightening up everything like that. And, that's just some examples of like what the coaching was like during the week.
Let's talk about the coaching that you experienced from your existing coaching staff. How much were you able yourself personally to gain by what they were able to do? Obviously, they had a lot of people they had to work coach on, but did you really like this particular coaching staff? And were they able to teach you certain things that you didn't know going into this league?
I really did like this, my coaching staff, my college career. I was going into my third year with Coach DeBoer and Coach Sheridan, my second year with Coach Ellis, and I was comfortable enough to kind of go up to them and ask questions whenever I needed to. And that's ultimately their goal, was to kind of get you comfortable enough so you could ask questions, so you could get that development from them. Because, those college coaches, they're ultimate ball knowers, you know what I mean? Like, they're there for you to pick their brain and ultimately get better and get developed. And you can't do that without asking questions. So the first step in their process is kind of get comfortable within the system and with the college coaches so you can thrive in their system.
What can you say about maybe the sort of, not as obvious parts of your game, maybe getting out and blocking on screens, making plays on special teams, kind of getting your hands dirty in the run game?
Yeah, that's something that I put so much emphasis on in that offseason from 2024 to 2025. And it really showed in that 2025 season just kind of how much work that I did in the dark. And, ultimately all that came to light. And, like back to your question earlier, just kind of asking coaches and being comfortable enough, telling them like, hey, what do I need to work on? And they're giving me parts of my game. Obviously, one of them was run blocking and perimeter blocking and things like that. So that's something you just pour all your time into. And you don't just wake up a good blocker overnight. It's just something you need to work on and chip at every single day. And that's what fall camp's for, that's what spring ball's for, that's what all this is for. And you'll be ready during the season. So thankfully it worked out for me and my process.
So after this game, now there's pro days, there's the combine, and then the draft. This is out of the way. Where do you go from here? Do you feel you've gained a lot of confidence from what you accomplished here at the Senior Bowl in terms of levels 2, 3, and then ultimately the draft and undrafted free agent, depending on what goes on in that order?
Yeah, a lot of the work thus far has been really, really great. But now you kind of go back to training for the combine and things like that for pro day. But I feel like here I made so many good connections, and this entire week was about kind of getting your foot in the door with all these coaches and all these NFL interviews and kind of seeing how it works so you can be comfortable next time at the combine, at the pro day, just kind of interacting with all these college or these NFL coaches again. But, you know, I feel confident with what I did here and my connections, and going forward, I feel as though I put myself on a good path.
Are there any coaches you've talked to this week that you really enjoyed the conversation with, or just anything you take away from the week?
You know, all of them. You know, I mean, I'm taking away little bits and pieces as the days go on with every conversation, and you know, there's not really one coach that I can really like point out, just because I mean, like I said earlier, I came into this experience with an open mind, just like I went into every conversation with an open mind. I think every coach brings their own piece of wisdom. They've gone through it. They're seasoned in it. So anything that you can kind of take away from their conversations or something like that, it's valuable.
Got time for a couple more? Go ahead.
Is there any advice or mindsets that made like networking easier for you coming out here?
Yeah, for sure. I think I kind of came into it with just like embrace the unexpected. You know, you're gonna get asked questions that maybe you aren't super comfortable with, or you know, that you might not expect, but you know, you just take it with a grain of salt, and it's like you're just trying to answer it the best you can, and kind of, if you know, you say something that's like not related, or kind of just doing something like that with the connection that you're trying to make with a coach, then he'll probably tell you something, just because they're pretty blunt and pretty straight up like that. But you know, I think all these different connections and kind of going into all this stuff, like you just kind of have to be open-minded with it and just kind of take it how it is.
Did you learn anything about yourself as a competitor throughout this week in this process?
Honestly, nothing I didn't know. You know, just kind of going in, I knew I'm a workhorse, man. Like, it's just in my blood, my work ethic. But it was just a blessing kind of getting out here, going up against some of the best guys around the nation. And, you know, there's just elite competitiveness out here. And I mean, like, it's just, people would kill to be in our position right now. So, you know, you just gotta think like that every single day and just not take anything for granted.
What's the best competition you faced all week?
Shoot, I saw him walking in here. Zion Young, the edge from Missouri, that man's a dog for sure. I mean, I faced him in the regular season too when when I was at Bama. And I saw him here again, and it was like, okay, yeah, you already it already sets the tone for what the week's gonna be like. But yeah, I had to say the hardest one I've had to go against is Zion Young for sure.
What's special about his game?
He's got everything in his bag, man. I mean, he's got speed to bull, he's got chops, he got spins, he got everything. I mean, he can drop into coverage. It's, you know, he's the full package. I mean, he's just a great competitor all around.
So Josh, are there any particular receivers that you grew up as a kid that you idolized and that you like to take aspects of their game so that you can try to make it part of your own?
You know, kind of growing up, believe it or not, I didn't really watch sports. I was more just kind of go out there and do it. I mean, it was easier to ask me the question, like, what sports didn't you play? I was playing baseball, I was playing basketball, I was playing tennis, water polo, you name it. I was just out there doing it. So I wasn't really just kind of sitting around watching stuff on the screen. But, you know, now I'm looking at guys like Sam Laporta and George Kittle and Cade Otton as like a full kind of like that every down tight end. You know, Laporta has that finesse to him, that route running ability, and then George Kittle just has that aggression and that kind of just willingness at the point of attack. And then obviously just Cade Otton, just kind of the full package too, just kind of can do everything.
Last question. Who were one of the funniest guys in the locker room?
Funniest guys this week?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mostly interacted with a bunch of my tight end fellows. Kind of got out there a little bit, but Ted Hurst, he's a funny guy too. I'm actually training with him in Fort Lauderdale, but he's hilarious. I mean, like anytime he's around people, or, you know, like people are always laughing. And I mean, I probably had to say Ted Hurst. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Can I ask
Question?
you a question?
All right. Yeah.
With the pressure that is at playing in Alabama, and the scrutiny that comes with it sometimes, how did that prepare you for this week and ultimately the process that is to come with the combine and the draft and the career in the NFL?
Yeah, you know, as soon as you walk into that building, you kind of know what it is. And you just kind of know that Bama has that history and that kind of like standard to it. But you know, pressure is a privilege. So you kind of walk into that building, it makes you a better person right off the bat. You know, your willingness, not everybody's built for Bama. I mean, some people leave, some people get cut, it's just how it is. But you know, like, as far as like preparing me for it, you know, playing in front of 100,000 people, you know, there's no better preparation than that right there. And I mean, the SEC culture, you know, the media that's surrounding the SEC itself and Alabama, like, you can't get any more pressure than that, any more distraction. You can't get any more of that. So, in terms of preparing me for it, I think Alabama is one of the best programs to be at. Appreciate y'all.